What is up, health enthusiasts? It's Coach Lambie here for Working Weights LLC, your guide to strength, health, and all things nutrition. I'm joined as always by my co-host, Dwayne Ulrich, aka
Hey,
Poppy Doerl.
how's it going? Dwirl here. What's going on?
Today we are celebrating 1 year of podcasting.
Woohoo! Woohoo! If I was able to, I'd make the little balloons and the confetti go all over the screen.
I know they changed that now.
I know. How many of you remember, for those of you that are watching, how many of you remember that for the longest time, if Coach Lambie was doing something with his hands and his hands
The
was
thumbs
remotely
up.
and the big thumbs up would go across the screen? Do y'all remember that? I kind of miss that. I mean, after a year, man, that should be like, you should get that in like neon back there against the wall, the big thumbs up. Or maybe not.
Oh, I can have one made, yeah. They're actually, that thing's quite inexpensive.
It's amazing looking. I love that thing, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's looks great. I got the small one set up above my desk in the house now. So I have that one's the big one, and I have a smaller one. And so that one's finally set up in there. I did some rearranging. I finally got some extra shelves. Could put my stuff up there, and then Christy's like, "You need to hang that sign."
Yeah.
I said, "Okay." And then
Yeah.
unfortunately, so they're controlled by this remote, so I can turn it up
Oh, wow. Different
and
colors
down.
too.
Well, it just gets
Dude.
brighter.
Okay. Well, there you
It
go.
just gets brighter, and then I can turn it off.
Don't turn it off. The sound
However,
effects.
now, however, they are both controlled by the same remote.
Oh my gosh, it's blinking in the house. That's
Yeah.
hilarious. I love it. I love it. My commitment to our viewership is through this next year, the next 52 podcasts, to do something with my background. These are my wife's diplomas and certificates, and yeah, I just borrow them.
Yeah, maybe this year we need to start a Patreon or something,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
people can fund a green screen
for Poppy Whirl. That's right.
and a Camlink 4K so he can have a better
Yes.
camera. So he already has a camera, but we need the
Yes.
Camlink 4K to
Yeah.
convert it to a webcam, or
Yeah.
maybe we just
Yeah.
get a decent webcam.
I've experimented with several different backgrounds, the virtual backgrounds, but when you move too fast, then it kind of glitches and it's like, and
Yeah,
everybody knows.
that's what you need the green screen back there for. I think
Yeah.
Zach has one.
Yeah. He does. He does.
Just go in his room and take his.
No, I'm not going in there. No, it's like a pit of vipers. It's a minefield from World War II. I'm
It's
not
a
walking in there.
minefield of
It's
Legos.
I am not
If
going in
you
that room.
if you bump anything, everything will fall apart.
Dude, he had some kids the other day. I'm not going to tell you whose family it was, but prominent family. And the kids were like, the grandmother said, "Hey, well, this is Zach. He's the one that has such and such, such and such, such and such Legos." And I go, "Really?" And they ran over to him and asked him for his autograph.
Really?
I kid you not.
Oh wow. But
Yeah.
that made him feel good.
Oh, he did. He did. Well, he gave it to him too. They're like, "Did you really do the such and such, such and such? Do you really have the Concorde? Did you do the Eiffel Tower?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." They're like, "Do you have your autograph?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
I tagged him in a post on Instagram. I saw on Instagram I was scrolling through, and somebody had built this massive, Dwayne, it must have been 10 feet long, made out of Legos. And
No
it's
way.
a spaceship from Halo, the video game. It
Seriously.
was insanely detailed, and they're like, uh, the more I looked into it, like there are corridors and stuff within inside
Really?
yeah, like hallways and bulkheads and
Wow.
doors, and there's translucent Legos for the lights and everything.
Oh my gosh. You realize what's going to happen is he's going to buy that and it's going to wind up in our living room. Oh goodness. Ah,
Yep, cool stuff. Oh, I need to pop this thing open. All right, well, shall we do reels?
Yes. 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 Is that fan bothering anybody? I can turn that off.
Yeah, we're good. Okay.
What's it like when your wife apologizes?
I guess we'll never know.
Did you read it? Dear crybaby.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
You forced me. Yeah.
That's about right too.
Yeah, I'll be home soon though. Oh, by the way, Danny broke up with his girlfriend. Yeah. Oh no, I don't know. No, I didn't ask. Yeah, I don't know, babe. I don't know. I don't know. Oh my God, babe. I have gossip. Oh, you have no idea. You at work? Well, clock out. I'm telling you, clock out.
Clock
Danny's
out.
girlfriend's moving out because she cheated.
Oh,
He
that's
walked in and caught them. Yeah, the guy that was taking pictures that night, it was him the whole time. Oh my God. It's so bad she has to move. Like she's leaving the town. I don't know where she's moving to. Yeah, like some small town type stuff. Yeah, crazy. He's keeping the dogs. Yeah, he's gonna keep both the dogs. Dude, it sucks.
Excuse me? Excuse me? You have a string on your shirt. Oh wait, those are just your little off arms.
Baby, you got something in your nose. Sniffing that K, did you feel the...
He's gonna go home and kick
Right
his
to
dog.
the core. Oh, that's harsh.
He's gonna kick his dog.
Kick his dog. It's gonna go take it out. Take it out on somebody.
He's crushed.
All right, man. 1 year of podcasting.
Yep.
It's kind of crazy to think about.
It is. It is. It is. You and I had talked also about maybe just throwing out there our favorite podcasts that we've done. And
Yeah.
honestly, man, there's so many and so many kind of blurred together that I mean, some of them are outstanding to me for content and how much I enjoyed them and how much feedback we got. And then some were outstanding to me because uh, they just kind of blew my mind so bad. I don't know if you want to go into this right now, but do you? Is that
Yeah. Go ahead.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. So we got to a point where um, it's kind of second nature for me and also for Coach Lambie is that reading abstracts and conclusions uh, and stuff that people send us. Sometimes to us it's just common sense, but there are techniques for logical arguments and logical conversations. And so we went through like what 3 maybe 4 weeks
Hmm.
of it's an actual thing. We didn't make it up because I started talking to my wife about it. She goes, "Oh yeah, that's straw man." I'm like, "What? Who's straw man? What?" Anyway, so we went through those, and I thought I did really, really well. Like through the first two podcasts. The third podcast, we're doing things, and you're testing me on some stuff, and I'm kind of starting to falter a little bit. And the fourth podcast is a little for the last session. I think I was just like this. Don't call on me. Don't call on me. Because I think that's the one where you had all the names and you were like, yeah, that's straw
Mm,
man, or or this that's the Batman Joker, paradigm. I'm like,
yeah.
whoa.
All of the
So that
logical
stands
fallacies.
out. That stands out in my mind. That
Yeah.
stands out in my mind. Also
That,
stands out in my mind is that we'll go back to that. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I mean, cut you off.
oh, no, yeah, yeah, so that was fun for me. And I think that's kind of like a running theme throughout this podcast is most people who are out there doing podcasts and are giving information, giving advice, um, on YouTube and through various podcasts and blog posts and stuff, and
Right, right.
uh, they're just repeating what they heard other people say.
Yep.
And we saw that when I mixed that compilation of the food pyramid, like everybody's just repeating what everybody else said, and
Yep.
people don't actually know anything about the topic. So,
Right. And we've seen
uh,
that in so many different topics, though. It's like
mhm,
I remember we've done several podcasts. It was just, all right, well, this guy, uh, he's put out there on social media that if you load up on Doritos, then that's going to really increase your strength gains. It wasn't Doritos, but I don't want to point the guy out. But I mean, that's it. And then people are like, "Oh my gosh, we're going to be eating Doritos." Yeah, because they don't think about it. They just take it and they don't read it. They don't look at things logically.
mhm,
If something doesn't make sense, it's probably not right.
mhm. Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of talking today.
S-
I am out of
Okay.
control.
Good.
You should mute me, man.
You're gonna have to keep it up. You're gonna have to keep it up. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, some things that I really enjoyed doing. I like doing our very first episode, which was the plant versus animal protein. Because it was kind of like that's kind of the first thing that I ever really went in depth into researching information on it and putting together the whole thing, and actually having to change my mind on the topic, because before that I was just like everybody else. You watch some influencers. Oh, animal protein is way better than plant protein because of amino acids and digestibility, blah 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 blah. And then once you start learning how to read uh, nutrition science and putting things together and finding things from the FDA and the USDA and so put it all together, and you're like, oh my goodness, like all these people are actually like, this information is actually wrong. It's
yeah,
yeah. So that one was very fun for me to do. Also, it was our first one. We sat down, pulled the trigger on the thing, and first set of technical issues. The video recorded for 20 minutes, and then that's something that I've had to figure out over
yeah,
a
yeah,
course of a
yeah.
year, and I
We've had
still
tech
don't have it all the way.
we've had technical issues that people don't really know about, but yeah, so that's just cutting your teeth on it and just becoming comfortable. I told my wife, I said, yeah, we should have like a checklist, like a pilot,
You would think we'd
geared
have that
down
by
and
now.
locked, and yeah, cameras on, shares on, yeah, just and by the way, there's a lot of professions that actually have those kind of things. There are
Yeah.
procedures in the
Oh yeah.
hospital. There's procedures in the hospital. They have a checklist. Can't go in until everybody got this, got this, got this, got this, got the crash cart, got this one. Okay, we're ready.
Yeah.
And then they go.
Yeah. I mean, those are SOPs. And I did a whole bunch of them for the hot rod shop when I was running that place. And
I
then,
remember. Yeah.
yeah. And then, when it comes to this, like, for some reason, I just haven't done them.
We're flying by the seat of our pants, man. Let me get a seatbelt
Yeah.
on. I just want to say about the meat versus plant protein thing, the very first episode. Uh, I mean, I'm not saying that that's all we hammer on, or that's our focus, but that's a recurrent theme that has gone through most of our podcasts at some point or another. And if not just for the basis of how we make the argument, or how we go about analyzing the analysis and the tests and the trials, but also just a reminder of truth and
Hmm.
and just the basics of that. I mean, we did the I hate to missay it, but I just vapor lock, like the lab grown meat.
Yeah.
Uh, um, that first episode, that topic has interwoven itself through so much of our broadcasts. So I liked doing the one on dyes.
That was
The-
very in depth.
oh, it was huge, but man, I saw
Mhm.
there was one I did. I was broadcasting from. Is that the right word? But I
Yeah,
was recording
broadcast. Yeah.
from, yeah, broadcasting. I was broadcasting from Mana, a restaurant here in town,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and they're very pro. They're behind our podcast all the time. They love it. I've got carte blanche to go over there anytime I want to and just set up. And but man, I sank my teeth into about, maybe it was the second episode that we were working on that, and I was eating that up because I don't know, I just found it super interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah,
It,
I'm not sure I even let you talk.
well, we had a back and forth on that episode. So that was regarding the FDA
Yes,
committee hearing.
yes,
And then
yes.
you looked into the response from the oh, I forget the initials for that group. The CSPI.
CSPI, yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
that was it. Yeah. So we had a little back and forth there. I really liked looking into that aspect as well. Because it kind of helped to solidify a few things in my mind regarding artificial food coloring, and then also um, uh, putting an emphasis and a focus on, even though we might have some double-blinded randomized control trials, looking for aspects of what's it called, placebo and nocebo,
Right.
so even despite, so the theme through all of those, it's kind of just ended up being the same experiment. And I don't know that the design can actually change that much due to ethical considerations, because we're looking at effects in kids, but it was just kind of like you just couldn't get rid of a placebo effect or a placebo by proxy effect from that. And so
Right.
that's something that maybe didn't stand out too much in my mind when I looked at things before, but now it certainly is there after going through that. So
Yeah.
that was pretty good.
I think we found that placebo by proxy in those studies was actually a big thing. And I think
Hmm.
that's the first study that or even the meta-analyses, that was one of the first times that I took such a deep dive into the the procedure and the actual steps and actual how they did these studies. I remember that one study, the older children that came in, uh, uh,
Oh yeah, they had the 3 to 5 year olds and then the 8 and 9 year
yes,
olds. Yeah.
yeah, and the 8 and the 9 year olds did stuff on a computer.
Hmm.
Well, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
9 year olds, hey, that's going to be really accurate. But anyway, so I'm that was the first one that I just took a deep dive. I had my wife. I mean, so deep in off into that, my wife pumped oxygen down to me because, I was in it. So, baby, did you see this? You need to take a break. It was awesome. I loved that. I loved that one a lot.
That was a good series of episodes. I
Yes.
I also especially like our dietary recommendation episodes.
Yes.
I
Yes.
I just received, so I there's a person that I follow on X, Twitter, and they're very, very good at statistics. So when somebody posts something about a study online or something, and he'll go through and kind of like, well, these are the issues regarding the way the statistics were done. This model was different, blah 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 blah. And there's a very prominent YouTuber um, who Nutrition Made Simple. So everybody go check out Nutrition Made Simple. He
Hmm.
has some great stuff. Gil Carvalho. And so he posted something pretty recently, and this guy went through and he actually found some things that Gil missed. And Gil was so impressed by that he offered him a job to review stuff
Wow.
before he actually makes a video, posts a video. And so I asked him, so something came out recently on Red Meat, and Stu Phillips, who is at McMaster University, he does a lot of research on protein and exercise and muscle strength gain and blah, blah, blah. And I love his work, love it a lot. But he actually like kind of had a bad take on this study. And so I posed the question, didn't get answered, And so this guy asked, came back and kind of like gave his 2 cents on the whole deal. And so I asked him to come on the podcast and talk about that study. And he is kind of a little shy to get on a podcast. He's got some imposter syndrome going on, but he did say that he really liked our podcast and he especially liked the stuff on the dietary guidelines.
Yeah.
So we actually,
Yeah.
so, we've received a few compliments from people who do research, who are involved in this, in the nutrition research aspect of this. And I find, that gives me a little bit more confidence in what we're doing here.
Mhm.
I don't know, we don't appeal to everybody, and that's okay.
Right, right,
So
right. I forget the young man's name. But we had a guest on. Well, we've had a couple of guests. Hold on just a second. Oh, I didn't mute myself. Coughed in everybody's ear. I apologize. But we had a young man. I think he's up in Canada, and he got that guy. What was his name?
I can find it.
Forgot his name. But what he went through with the infection, the brain infection, and his fight back to health, and just the tenacity and the drive. I mean, he was still on the mend, and he did this marathon in the snow. I'm like,
Justin Gretzfeld.
that's it, Justin.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I have no room to bellyache because this guy was out there
I know.
3 feet of snow.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
really something. Wow.
yeah, I liked that
Yeah.
episode.
Speaking of guests, I mean, I wish we could get more guests. It's really hard to get people to come on this show. And I don't know if it's, they check stuff out beforehand and maybe, I mean, I don't want to be too boastful. Like maybe we are doing a pretty good job and people get a little bit intimidated once they start going through some stuff and they're like, this guy might actually challenge me on something and I might look terrible on here. But it is, the lack of guests is not for a lack of trying.
I think that you should take the tack that it's not me, it's you. So you should be going, it's not me, Dwarrell. It's you, bro. It's you. You're the reason they don't want to come
Oh
on.
no.
If
No,
I
it
take
can't be
if
you.
I take some duct tape right here, maybe then they'll think those two guys are just weird, man. Just weird. Nah, we'll get some more guests this year.
We'll get some more
Some
guests.
more guests. Absolutely.
So yeah, what's been popular with people? Red meat was pretty
Yep.
popular.
Yep.
Coffee was one of our most popular.
Excellent
I felt like that
episode.
was a good, yep. And that episode, I kind of changed the way that we did, or that I looked at papers and stuff a little bit. I think that's
Right.
helped
Right.
with audience retention and stuff.
Yes.
And people like the guests. People liked Jordan Feigenbaum. He was a pleasure to talk to.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Patrick. So
Patrick was awesome.
he's been pretty active on the social medias. He's doing a lot of work.
Has he nailed down his doctorate yet?
Yes. Yeah. So
Awesome.
he is
Awesome.
Patrick, PhD.
God, that guy was so smart. I was scrambling just to hang on.
Yeah,
He was
he's
so bright.
he's incredibly intelligent. Yeah.
So bright. So bright.
Yeah. So red meat, coffee. I thought the sleep episode was going to do a little bit better than it did, but it's actually been a little low.
Weird. Weird. I thought that
Yeah.
was excellent. Oh well.
Yeah, those are the things. So let me ask you, Dwayne, is there anything, so after all of the stuff we've looked at over the past year, is there anything that you've changed your mind about?
Yes. Yes and no. And yes, but not completely. I have a different mindset on just nutrition.
Hmm.
yeah, I am. I'm not ready. I enjoy eating meat. However, I've not, beef. I enjoy that.
Yeah.
However, I don't eat as much of it as I used to.
Yeah.
Partially because of some of the things we've talked about, partially because of some of the ethical conversations that honestly that you and I've had off the
Hmm.
air. Um, and so, yes, and I've always enjoyed fish. I love fish. I love chicken. I can get tired of it sometimes, but I love chicken. But there are other ways, there are other meats that other sources of protein
Hmm.
that I feel are actually better for me.
Hmm.
Um, wow, I'm getting really introspective here. Um, my dad was a big man. And when I say big, I'm not saying he was a balloon or the size of a Zeppelin, which is a blimp for those of you that don't know what a Zeppelin is or was. But he was like almost 6'4", uh, just all man, just a big guy.
Hmm.
And towards the end of his days, um, what came back to bite him, of course, he had arthritis really bad, and he worked hard. He worked a very difficult job all of his life, and it took a toll on his knees, on his joints, and then with the addition of arthritis, it it really took a toll on him, and so he wasn't able to be as active as in his later days as he was as a younger man, and he didn't make a an adjustment in his nutrition. And so what he normally loved to eat just started packing weight on him. And it became a vicious cycle because his knees were bad, so he couldn't exercise. So he would eat, but he got heavier and he needed to exercise, but he couldn't because his knees were bad. And so that's not what his final uh, that was not what brought him to his end. However, it severely hampered his health. And I told you guys that to say that nutrition, it evolves with our life, with our age, with our activity levels. It's not just you just don't okay. This is my nutrition meal, and this is what I'm going to eat, and this is what I got to do. I also grew up in an era when we weren't wealthy, and so whatever was on my plate, that was my meal, and I had a mindset of I've got to finish it. Got to clean that plate off down to taking a piece of bread and stopping every little drop on there. And you know what? It's like just eating and my nutritional thoughts and what I eat, eating healthier, eating more vegetables, things that I never, just legumes, um, just the way we prepare food. Because we did a big thing on cooking oils. I don't know if you remember that,
Hmm.
and that changed the way I looked about cooking and the just procedure or what we did in the kitchen. So I think those are some of the biggest things that have that have
Yeah. Yeah.
impacted me. Mind blown.
Yeah. Yep. The stuff on red meat was a pretty hard pill for me to swallow as well.
Yeah,
But it just like the more that I read on it, the more information that I gained, the more that you could clearly see, that there are some
yeah,
things that are true that we just don't want to be true.
yeah,
And yeah, that's
yeah.
that was a hard one to swallow. Um, and then regarding the fish and everything else, and so I've made a ethical decision at the beginning of the year, but I don't feel it's my duty or place to be an advocate on that. And so I'll always try to be uh as unbiased as I can and just, relay the
Right,
information. So
right,
it's,
right.
as far as those things go, like fish does tend to just be overwhelmingly healthy. We may have looked at the chart one time, but there's an analysis by Schwingshackle, several analyses actually, on all these different foods or different types of foods
Yeah.
and their impact on things like diabetes and mortality and
Yes.
fish. It just seems to be like the more fish you consume, the lower mortality, lower diabetes, lower cancer, lower everything. Fish tends to be overwhelmingly healthy. So,
Yeah. We did some work on, we looked at a number of studies from European countries, and I'm not saying Europe has it right or anything like that, but there are completely different food palettes that some of the countries over there use. And we looked at health versus what they're eating. Like we looked at Scotland, Ireland, UK, I think Japan, a couple of other those places, and you look at their lifestyle and like
all of the Nordic countries too. We did the Nordic, yeah.
That's well, especially the Nordic. So yeah, those things made an impact on me. It made a big impact on me.
Yep.
Coach
What do
Lambie
you
tries to, when we end the episode, a lot of times Coach Lambie goes, "Well, I hope somebody's mind is blown." Many times out of 52 episodes, I would say at least 35 or 40 of them, I'm going, "Yep, my mind's blown." And it truly is. It's not, I'm just not doing that to be like, "Hey, y'all need to just join me and say your mind's blown." But yeah, I mean, we've run across things that I just really didn't know or it didn't sink in until we got deep into the episode. So yeah, and that some of that nutrition stuff, especially, I'm glad you reminded me about the Nordic, but that was like almost a shocker. Like, what? Yeah,
Yep.
I
Yeah.
suggest you guys try to find that and see if you could look at that episode again. It's just really, man, it's really, really good. Really good.
Yeah, the Nordic dietary guidelines.
Yep.
I always try to find some interesting little tidbit. So as I was learning how to read these studies, the way the nutrition science is kind of laid out and looking at stuff, and Alan Flanagan is the one who teaches the courses through Alinea Nutrition. And so if you guys want to learn a lot more on this stuff, you can sign up for the year-long subscription to Alinea Nutrition. I highly recommend it. And you will make leaps and bounds in your ability to read and comprehend and be able to infer things from all this science. But yeah, so he always finds some interesting little thing within whatever he's looking at. And I thought that was a pretty cool theme. So I always try to do that and try to have some kind of mind-blowing fact. It can't always do it. Some stuff is just, about as interesting as tapioca, but
yeah, that's funny. A couple of things. It's popped up on several episodes, but one of the other things that I didn't think I would enjoy it quite as much is when we look at the FDA's the food pyramid studies that we did, looking all the way back to what was it, 1969
1977.
77. That's it.
Yeah.
1977, and then people are like, oh, things are different now. Not really.
Nope.
They didn't miss it. They didn't miss it much, if any at all. And I think that was a shocker. People that I know that watched or listened. My wife listens a lot of times instead of watching, and they were surprised because they thought, "Oh, they completely changed the food diagram and what we need and blah blah blah." And it's like, not really.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
As far as the recommendations go, yeah, like they haven't really changed that much. I think most of the effort in recommendations has just been trying to communicate the recommendations to people, to the American population, in a way that they can understand it and also make the changes necessary.
I agree.
And so some people will complain about certain recommendations, and fixate on the hyper, specific meta points of it. And it's kind of like, well, that's not really what the recommendation is about.
Right.
It's more of a broader thing for a broader population. We're not giving these exact specific recommendations. There are specific recommendations for people in
Right.
certain categories, but these are just kind of like overall broader things. And that's something I think a lot of people miss out of that.
And I think that takes us back also to the conversation where we're having about why we do some of these things, because a lot of that scrutiny of what the FDA's, dietary recommendations are, because somebody heard something on online, or they knew somebody whose child was, allergic to carrots or whatever, and then they attack that nutrition guideline, and it's like, no, take a good look at it. You're just exactly what you said. So it ties in. Yeah.
Yeah. So, in the year coming up, what are we going to do? So I would like to look into some stuff on diet and its impact on acute, maybe even chronic levels of inflammation, but specifically so you talked about your dad having arthritis.
Yes.
So I know
Yes.
lots and lots of people out there suffer from arthritis,
Yes.
and there are some dietary recommendations online about arthritis. Also, diseases that promote chronic inflammation like Hashimoto's or stuff like that. And so
Right. Right.
I'd like to get into some of that. Um, what else? Oh, maybe some better recommendations on cholesterol and blood pressure. So those were two very popular episodes as well,
Yes.
lowering
Huge.
cholesterol, lowering blood
Huge.
pressure. And
Huge.
I think maybe recommendations that I made in there were too broad. And so maybe people are looking for some more specific ways on how to do that. So specific foods that might help with those things. So we may do
Right.
something like that in the future.
Right. Right. The inflammation thing, I completely agree with. I know that I think I shared this with you, but I haven't said anything broadcasting it wise. But so I'm having a lot of soreness in my hands. And like I said, my dad had arthritis really bad. My sister had it. And I'm just starting to get like twinges in my hands. I recognize it. So I'm a musician also, but I recognize it when I play my instruments, as well as when I'm doing my workouts. Just I haven't lost strength in my hands, but there's discomfort just grabbing the bar, or working with my dumbbells. It's just there's a little bit of, because I can tell when they're inflamed and when they're not. And I don't know if there's got to, I feel like there's going to be a food conjunction there, or a liquid intake or something like that. I think that would be something I'd like to look into. Also, I think it's cyclic, but man, there's a new wave of all the testosterone products out there. I've heard on the radio, I've heard two or three different brands of stuff, and they all talk about it. It's all really clever sounding. Like, well, you got to get the such and such stack, and I'm not even really sure what that means, a stack. But anyway, so I think that there are a lot of supplementary things that people are buying, looking to, at least for men, looking to enhance the testosterone levels. I think that might be something if we could kind of delve in that at some point.
Yeah, we did that whole episode on testosterone. I guess
Yes, we did.
we can
Yes, we
look
did.
more into specific supplements. So we did cover, what was it in there?
Versus,
Ashwagandha or something.
yes, but also I would
Looked
like
at
to do
that, yeah.
that versus just a healthy exercise regimen, healthy workout regimen, and diet,
Yeah.
as opposed to starting to pump yourself full of, some kind of root, some kind of weed from Bangladesh.
Yeah. I think I need to do some more exercise science too. The nutrition stuff really piques my interest. Um, it just seems to be a very special kind of science. But I
Well, and I
think,
think
yeah,
we're in
so
and I think we're
exercise
in
will
the
be
right,
helpful.
and I think we're in the right groove there. I don't think we should change anything. I mean, guys that are listening to us and are watching, can you just send us what you think? If you want us to do more nutrition stuff, or if you do want us to start adding more of exercise science in there as well. But I think the two kind of go hand in hand. And I think where we've really cut a niche out is like with nutrition and health. When people ask
Hmm.
me, say, "Well, what's your podcast around?" Well, it's we do a nutrition and health along with exercise and fitness. But I always leave with
Hmm.
nutrition because that's kind of our wheelhouse right now.
It is. I
And
mean,
I enjoy
it's
it.
it's kind of like it's working weight, strength, and nutrition. So I do want to talk some more about strength and having Dr. Feigenbaum on here and talking with him about his stuff, his thoughts on specifically exercise and lowering blood pressure.
Hmm.
And he really had some specific things that people could do to lower blood pressure, and that was kind of missing from my blood pressure episode. So I think there's still more aspects into how exercise can help lower cholesterol, how it can help decrease mortality,
Right.
and then what modalities of exercise. So that's stuff that I think will probably need to be incorporated a little bit
I'm with
more
you.
to give a more comprehensive picture on it.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with
And
you.
then even the sleep, doing the sleep episode, the number one thing that improved sleep was strength training, resistance
Yeah,
training.
absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
yep, good
Now,
stuff.
for those people that have written in asking for us to do a jingle, an intro and outro music, I'm not sure that nobody's asked for that. But I think it'd be funny. That was great. I took you by surprise, didn't I?
Yeah, I was like, what? Who's written to you about that?
Nobody writes to me, man. No, nobody writes to me except the bank,
Uh,
Your house notes due. Like, I got it.
nice.
Good
All right.
times, man. Good stuff.
Good stuff. All right. Well, Dwayne, I have enjoyed the last 52 weeks of doing this with you. Man, I couldn't imagine doing it with anybody else.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Same here.
So here's to
All
another
the way.
52 weeks. We want to thank everyone who has followed along, who has joined along the way and supporting us throughout this. Thank every single one of you from the bottom of my heart. And we will see you guys next time with some more science. Coach
Thank you.
Lambie and Dwayne out.
Thank you, guys.